Absolutely. I have always been one to second guess myself and to just I thought I was always one. I thought I was always a follower,
Mhm.
and I was like, well, I'll just kind of do what's already been set out and everything. And I didn't want to be in accounting. I didn't have that confidence in myself whatsoever.
Mhm.
Uh, just through life, I don't know. I had confidence in other areas of my life, but as far as career and business and stuff, I was just like, there are some amazing people out there. I'll never be on their level, you know. I just it was just too far of a dream away from me. Like being an accountant, that's a lot of weight to have on you to be in charge of people's finances and books and stuff like that.
The collaborative entrepreneur. Okay, welcome everybody back to the Collaborative Entrepreneur, the show where we want to build partnerships that can help grow our business. I'm your host, Tracy Currington, and I have a great guest on the show today. As always, we're trying to help because I like collaboration a whole lot more than I do like cooperation. The person on the show today is here because she wants to be here, and every guest that I ever have on the show, they're here because they want to be here because they want to help you. And it is my goal, my objective on these shows to ask the questions that will that they can lean into and basically interview them to where no doubt their answers can serve you. So if you've ever wanted to delve into the mind of somebody that you see, maybe they're in social media, maybe you see you've seen their business card or some other advertisement, and you just look at that person, and you say that person is going places, and you just want to know more about them. You're in the right place, because in today's conversation, I'm going to be taking us through an interview with an entrepreneur who's growing her business and learning who she is as a wife, as a mother, as a leader along the way. And our conversation will take a look into her story. What is it that motivates her? What is it about her wins and the learns that she's had along the way, as well as what is she working on today and what she wants to accomplish in the future. I know she's going to share with us some valuable insights and lessons that she's learned from her entrepreneurial journey. Her name is Sarah, and she has 9 years of experience in the real estate and investing industry, accounting. She, as an investor, as an advisor, as a bookkeeper, she owns her own business. It's called Advisory Solutions, LLC. And that's where she gets to serve her clients in maybe advising for real estate investors. She also has her own properties. She's a bookkeeper, providing accurate financials in a timely manner. I like that part. And by the way, anybody that wants their books kept, they want them kept in a timely manner, because we know bad things happen if they're not kept right. But also she has the ability to make split-second decisions, help entrepreneurs grow their business with less stress in especially the accounting department. So if you don't have one, get yourself a pen, get yourself a notepad. I've got mine already. Also, it's great to have a beverage. I like what fitness instructor Tony Horton says, drink your water, people. So if you got some water handy, get that, maybe a cup of tea or some coffee, and get ready for our guest entrepreneur. Her name is Sarah Bratcher. Sarah, welcome to the show today.
Hi, thank you. I got my water.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Great to have you on the show. And Sarah, let's see, how long have we known each other by now? I can't remember I was thinking about that earlier. I can't remember how long we've known each other.
I think it's probably over three and a half years,
Yeah.
almost 4 years now, maybe.
It sounds about right. I think for those on the call today, Sarah and I got to meet one another in a mastermind. And if you don't know what a mastermind is, it's basically we had, I think it was the How Successful People Think.
Mm-hmm.
We got to share that space together, and we have a mutual friend and mentor named Braun Light, and he got to teach us in that one. We got to know some other good entrepreneurs in that time together. But from that, Sarah and I have got to know each other in more professional type relationship as her coach. But just to see her, to hear her story, to see what she's done, I don't want to tell it. It's best coming from her. So Sarah, give the listeners a bio sketch. Tell us about your journey from, you're a mother of two, your wife, but you've not always been a business owner. So give us the backdrop about how you come to be in this as an entrepreneur today.
So the short story is I graduated high school and didn't know what in the world I wanted to do. So I did a lot of things, and was miserable at them. And I finally, at 25, I was like, okay, I probably need to settle down on something. And I had been in an office, an oil and gas office, and I did a lot of accounting for them. And I was like, well, I'll just go back and get my business degree. And I had basically the accounting 101 teacher. She said, you should go into accounting. She said, you're natural at it. You have the brain to do it. And if you were ever up for a job, she said, you don't ever have to do anything in accounting. Your resume, being in accounting, they will hire an accounting background before a marketing background for a marketing decision, if that's what you want to do. And I was like, okay. And so that's where my accounting journey started, at 25, and I graduated at 28. And I worked a little in public accounting, did tax returns, and realized, no, that wasn't for me. The taxes are always a moving target, and I wanted to hone down into something. So I ended up working for a real estate developer and learned a lot of information, and just saw a lot. And he was an entrepreneur himself. And, after 8 years with him, I told him, I said, I want to help other smaller entrepreneurs build their business up like I had helped him. I was like, that was my sweet spot. That's what I enjoyed most, was that launching the small business into, the larger business, and then letting it go. And so that's kind of how I was born into just doing, the bookkeeping for people now. So
that's so great. So there's a couple of bits and there's a couple of things in there that I didn't know about. I did not know about the oil and gas, the time there in accounting, just like here I'm 25, going back and getting a degree. And I love that thought of the accounting instructor telling you you're a natural like that. And I was thinking about when you said it, I was like, oh man, it's so true that in my life, I remember I had to have somebody believe in me and see something in me. And do you think that, was it the case for you? I know it was for me. Somebody saw something in me before I saw it. And I could not see what I couldn't see. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so somebody had to speak that into me. Was that the same way for you, or did you already know, I have gift and this kind of, makes this bunny hop? Is that what it was?
Absolutely. I have always been one to second guess myself, and to just, I thought I was always one. I thought I was always a follower. And I was like, well, I'll just kind of do what's already been set out and everything. And I didn't want to be in accounting. I didn't have that confidence in myself whatsoever. Just through life, I don't know. I had confidence in other areas of my life, but as far as career and business and stuff, I was just like, there are some amazing people out there. I'll never be on their level. It was just too far of a dream away from me. Like, being an accountant, that's a lot of weight to have on you, to be in charge of people's finances and books and stuff like that. So her speaking that, and it's where I go back to all the time. I'm like, she saw that in me. I can do this. Da, 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 da. And so that's the little pep talk I give to myself when the imposter syndrome starts to creep back in. I'm like, Dr. Holmes says I could do this. So
that's so great. And then I was just thinking about that transition from the oil and gas into going back and getting a degree, then then coming in, serving an entrepreneur for 8 years. And I know a little bit more of the inside story on that, as that journey from, because that was tough. It was tough for you to like, man, you know, you've got this security and you've got this steady income but you got that itch that like that's why I come in here, because I wanted to go out. I didn't come to stay. I came to learn all I could to go out and build and help and scale other people's businesses. But walk us through that difficult, like, because I think every entrepreneur, I know I did it when I knew in me I wanted to build something that's never been built before. I've never done it before, dealing with imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and then the security versus freedom thing. Walk us through that difficult journey where you just said, no, I'm just going to jump anyway. What was that? What was the breakthrough?
Gosh, I think there were so many things, but basically I was approaching 40 with a young child, and you have this young child in front of you, and it's like he sees everything you do and he only knows the world through your eyes. And it's like, you're right. The security of a check every 2 weeks was just getting me by. Like, I wasn't passionate in my job anymore. I wasn't, I just didn't have the fire in me that I had when I had first started that job. And so I was searching for that again, and just kind of all of it coming together, and just realizing that I had to leave this little kid a legacy, and I had to start a legacy of my own, and I had to show him how to do it. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do it, I've got to go all in, because he can't see me fail. But if he does see me fail, then, we'll teach him a lesson in that sense too.
Yeah.
But
I love that. Like, you reach for external motivation, like looking at this little boy, and then of course the viewers don't know his name is Jack, but looking at this little boy and just recognizing he's seeing the world. I like how you put that. He's seeing the world through your eyes, and you stepping out, I guess, in faith. I mean, both of us are people of faith, but stepping out in faith, believing that this is what the Lord wants you to do. This is what you have in your heart to do, and then stepping away from that. Was during the time, that 8 years of, no doubt, an entrepreneur, when you're around an entrepreneur, how would you describe, like, is there something that an entrepreneur puts out, a vibe, an energy of like, of confidence, or seeing that done, that you could do that? I mean, does entrepreneurs beget on other entrepreneurs? Or
I think absolutely. The biggest lesson I learned there from watching him work his magic and do his thing. I mean, he's amazing at what he does. Was no was a neutral emotion for him. It wasn't negative. It was, if he got a no, he just automatically, there was a switch. Okay, we'll do it this way then. And like there wasn't any emotions behind it. It was just to keep moving forward on a steady, forward pace. And no wasn't a brick in the, running into a brick wall or anything. It was like, okay, we'll just go around the brick wall and we'll do it this way. And watching him do that and learning from him that it's, to take the emotion out of it and to just get it done. And
wow. I love that no not being a neutral emotion. I mean, there are times, especially as an entrepreneur, when you got a lead, you got a client, and it's a no. And then you call them back up again later on, like, hey, I was just thinking about you, and just like, it's still a no. And then because I've called a couple of times, and then eventually, like 2 years later, it's like, yeah, let's have that conversation. Like, no, what didn't mean no, it meant not now, it meant not yet, or something like that. Or maybe I needed to do something to prove them, or maybe, and this is one thing I learned, that it wasn't anything about me. It was something about them. They just did not believe for themselves that they could, maybe it was the coaching aspect, or they couldn't, have me come in and turn their business around or whatever. Maybe there's a doubt that they were dealing with. Sometimes we internalize that.
Right. Absolutely. I think, we touched on imposter syndrome before. I've always dealt with that. And I don't know why. Maybe I need to do more therapy to get to the root of it, but I think I'm pretty far past it now. But you just get this into your mind, like, am I really worthy of that? Can I do that? And all this other stuff. And you just have to talk yourself out of it and know that at the end of the day, it's all about, somebody said once, life's in between the dashes of the, on the tombstone is what happens in the dashes. And it's like, that person telling me no isn't going to probably be spoken of at my funeral. So what does it matter? I'm not going to answer for that when I meet my Lord and Savior, and we have a discussion about a lot of things I've done wrong. But anyways, I just try not to let the no's be speed bumps, and I just try to keep on moving. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I got to know a couple of weeks ago, and I kind of wallered in some pity for a minute, and then I was like, wait a minute, I can't be doing this. I'm not supposed to be doing this. This is supposed to be neutral. Let's go on. So
what a great point. Thank you for that value. What was that you were gonna say?
One of my most recent goals for this quarter is to actually it's not to land more clients. It's how many no's can I get? Wow. So it's getting myself out there to get the no's. I think it's Alex Hermosi talks about, if you do 10,000, cold sales calls, you'll learn more about sales than reading any book you can find. Mm-hmm. And so I'm an accountant. I'm not a natural sales and marketing person. Mm-hmm. And so my goal this quarter is to rack up the no's, to get as many no's as I can, so I can get that experience, and I can tailor my script to where I can get more yeses eventually. So these people are just my audience to try out this script on. They're not a potential client anymore. They're just, I'm going to try this out and see if it works. And if it does, we'll keep using it.
I think we were at the same Live to Lead where Jamie Kern-Lima was speaking. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
She said here recently, her and Ed Milet were on a podcast, and just on the point that you've made, she mentioned that she believes that sometimes God hides our value from potential clients because they're not in alignment with his destiny for us.
Ooh, that's good.
And I'm like, oh man, I never thought that, like God's shielding our value. So it had nothing to do with us. It was God says, yeah, that's an opportunity, sure, but it's not in alignment with my plan for your life. So I'm going to shield your value from their eyesight. They're not going to be able to see the brilliance that you bring. And that really helped me when I deal with a no of, oh, thanks God. Thanks God for not letting me go that direction, because that apparently would not have been in alignment. And I thought that was so, it served me so well. That was just recently on a podcast I heard that.
That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, I follow her on Instagram, and I think I saw where she was on his, but I didn't listen to it. I'll have to go back and.
Yes, she's got a brand new book out, and I think from what I hear from it right now, it's going to kill her first one. First one, yeah, the first one was good, but from what I heard on that podcast, if it's any indication what the book's like, it's going to be amazing.
She's so inspiring because she was one that got tons of no's.
Oh, yeah.
She got no's from like the biggest people ever in makeup and everything, and she still kept at it. She was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. And
yeah, her no wasn't like, no, we don't need your services. Hers was like, no, and you're ugly, or no, and you're overweight, or whatever. Like, man, like a physical attack, a personal attack on top of a no. How demoralizing that would be. So yeah, I agree. She's an inspiration. What about your for you? So many that would be watching this show, they're either aspiring entrepreneurs or they're in the entrepreneur space like you and I are. And I was just thinking about like what they might ask. They might want to know, like, if you were to calculate all the things you've done, all the accomplishment and achievement up to this point, which one would you think would be the biggest of those accomplishments?
The miracle of having a kid. Two
Wow.
of them now.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it to someone that doesn't have kids and that hasn't grown a child in their body, and how much your body changes and goes through that, and the stress. You know, I read this last pregnancy, I read that basically the woman's heart and circulatory system goes through the equivalent of a marathon daily during pregnancy, because it's, there's, anyways, that may be, a cliche answer, but just the miracle of bringing a child into this world is just amazing. I have a 2-month-old, so it's really emotional for me right now.
Sure.
Ask me in a couple of years when she's writing on the walls, I may have a small different answer.
Well, I think I know for me, hearing you say that, as well as just thinking about the ones that will view this podcast and hear your words, that is encouraging. It encourages me, just because I know, like, the backstory. Guys that are watching this right now, Sarah's gone through just the CPA's exam alone. To conquer that and be on this side of it, that if you go Google it, go. I mean, you see people, men and women, in tears because, like, man, I studied, and then they got, the grade just was like just short, or it wasn't enough. And then to go through all of those exams, that's an accomplishment in itself. Starting a business, taking on employees, getting leads, generating prospects. Then Sarah and her husband also rent to some of the real estate that they have, investing in the real estate, and then some of the health things from her children. I know all those backstories, but to have her say that right there about the miracle of bringing life into the world like that, that's pretty phenomenal. So congratulations on both your children.
Thanks. The CPA exam was a 9-year journey, and It was all about perseverance. But I was told, shortly after we got married, well, about a little over a year into our marriage, that I may not have kids. There was, they had ran tests and they couldn't figure out why. But so just, I was kind of a no for me, and I was like, okay. And we were getting on board with not having any kids when we first found out. And I had a lot of health issues earlier in both pregnancies. And so just to know that my body is capable of that and can do something that amazing is it's phenomenal. It's bigger than a 9-year CPA exam journey.
Yeah, sure. No doubt that's the reason why you called it a miracle. That and I know I have those in my family that there's nothing, as far as medically, there's nothing wrong with them. They didn't do anything wrong. There's no, doctors haven't looked and said you're not pregnant because you're just not pregnant. There's no reason for it. It's just, it is what it is. And that would be a big encouragement to her and her husband, just knowing, just that testimony right there, that, well, we were willing to accept it. And just almost like when you're willing to accept it, God says, thanks for finally being willing to accept it. Boom, here's the miracle of a child.
Yes, absolutely.
How do you so as a business owner, and of course as a mom, I mean, no doubt there's going to be so many that are like, how does this lady balance things alike? With having a husband, having 2 children, a 2-month-old is one of them, and the other one, how old is Jack? 3?
He will be 4 on Thursday.
Oh wow, okay, happy birthday, Jack. But just thinking about like that, and then working and growing your business all at the same time, what do you do to grow and develop yourself personally?
I just keep putting myself in positions where the only choice I have is to grow. Sometimes it's intentionally, sometimes it's, oops, I didn't mean to do that, but here we are. Let's just get it done. Um, I don't know. I keep telling my husband, if this doesn't work out, the worst thing that could happen is this, and it's usually like we don't go on vacation. Or I think one time, when I very first started this business, I was like, maybe we just sell the house and downsize into a tiny apartment or a tiny home or something like that. And I'm like, but through it all, it's just like, it's trusting in God through all of it. It's like, okay, this is going to happen, or it's not, and just trusting that he's going to give me what I need when I need. And so that's what it is. And I listen to those smarter than I am. I listen to those who've done it before. I listen to those I have a small group that we meet weekly. They're all bookkeepers, and they're about the same size I am, and we're trying to grow, and we have similar, goals for the next 2 to 5 years. So just collaborate with them and figure it out.
That's what I knew when I heard you. I remember when you were sharing that with me about who you're collaborating with. I'm like, gotta have Sarah on the show, because that like-minded, like-valued. I want to be around people they've got targets, they've got goals, they've got things they want to do. They're doing things either faster or in more of abundance than I am right now. And I want to ride in their wake and see, like, hey, how are you doing this? And I love that type of collaboration.
There's so many, get into the technical side of the business. There's so many options for software, for, running businesses and options. And, everybody's coming at you. You have to niche down because you have to do this and you have to go this direction. And here's how you do sales now. And it's all ever changing. So when you have, 6 or 7 minds come together and we're all, researching and trying these things out, it really advances all of us quicker than just trying things out as we go along. And we can all experience the failure of one person and not do that, or maybe see it. And
John Maxwell has a quote. He says that when I change and get better, everyone around me gets better too. So everybody gets to benefit from that, or they should be able to get to benefit from that.
And that's our take. I try my best to only surround myself with people now that aren't in competition. I don't think any of it's a competition. We're all,
if you're competing, like if there's 5 dogs and there's only 1 bone, we're all competing for the same bone. But what if we lived in a world of abundance of bones? There's plenty of bones out there for all the dogs. There's plenty of money and plenty of clients out there, and plenty of business for every business owner, even if you're in the same space, in the same community, in the same town. I think that's I had to learn that as well. That abundance mindset instead of the scarcity one.
Yeah, with the technology that we have now, everything can be virtual. Most of my clients aren't even from my local area. So, it's all Zoom and email, and, we use apps to move information back and forth. And
so,
it's
we didn't
limitless.
have that. 10 years ago, that was not what we were thinking about. When we were 25, we weren't thinking about doing business the way that we're doing business today, or being on a podcast.
Had no clue what it was.
No doubt. So tell me this, because we mentioned about the real estate, and I know that you serve investors, and you give you love that side of the planning and everything. What is it about real estate today that makes it so appealing to you?
I think it's most real estate investors are doing it for financial security, to get away from the past and create generational wealth for their future and their kids' future. And it comes back to, just leaving a legacy where I started went on this journey when I decided to break away from a W-2 job and become an entrepreneur. And it was, I wanted to leave a legacy for my kids. And so that's just kind of legacy just keeps following me. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to help these other people leave their legacy. And I'm doing real estate as well. It's my passion. So I'm going to be learning about for myself. Might as well do that. And, we can all collaborate on that side. So I collaborate with other bookkeepers. I can collaborate with my clients and we can all help each other that way too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So financial security, generational wealth, leaving a legacy behind. I've learned a lot from people like you, just in the way that I view investing, just the way that I view, and of course I'm supporting the 10X Grant Cardone brand today. And I've learned a lot from him, just the way that I view investing. First, I invest in myself, I invest into my business, and then I invest into real assets. And it's really been helpful to be, like you mentioned, collaborating with other minds. It really helps me to collaborate with people that are in the space that you're in, just to hear what you're thinking, to know, how are you investing, or what are you looking at when you, because I know that you and your husband, you have your own property and tenants and stuff like that that you're tending to also, and how you're fitting all this into your life. I have no idea, and no gray hair, so I don't understand how that happens. I still have mine, but it just turned gray. So how you're doing that is just, I celebrate that. We're not worthy. Tell me this, the one trait that you want to learn right now, what is the trait you're looking to learn right now that is going to benefit you right now in the stage you are at in your business? What is that one lesson learn? What is it that you need to learn right
now? What I am trying to learn is consistency. I think that's my biggest thing, is because I'll gain some traction, and then I'll just be like, okay, this is going to go on its own now. And so and maybe it's because I am juggling so many things. I'm like, I look away for a minute and I go over here. And so I'm just trying to learn that I have to be consistent to keep progressing, mainly in the sales and marketing area. I talked about it briefly before, but I didn't realize when I first told people I was going to start this business and do this, and everybody's like, oh, you're great, you'll do great at it, da da da. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to get people to change bookkeepers, or to get to get on board, because I've never sold myself. Like, the people I've worked with before knew how good I was, but just some random investor who just kind of heard about me from somebody else, they're not too sure. I was just like, yes, I can do this and that. And like, I never thought, oh, I need to add value to my sales statement. And so I had to, I've been reading books, I've been watching Instagram stories, I've been listening to podcasts, I've been, just all over the place trying to figure out. I'm not a natural salesperson, and I'm trying to figure out how to be a natural salesperson. And I think I need to, consistency is the big lesson I'm trying to teach myself and to implement into everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've heard that the number one rule to success is show up. You just got to show up, and that has guided me for the last couple of years of my entrepreneur journey. It's just showing up, and now that I'm in a space where, like you said, you have a group of people that you come together. I was on a call this morning with like 128, 168, I can't remember, something like that. All these people that are on the call this morning, and this guy says, show up, have your hand raised. Show up, have your hand raised. Like, I didn't ask you if you had a question, just show up with your hand raised. He said, because when you show up with your hand raised, you have a question. If you didn't have a question, you wouldn't be on the call. You have something you're working on. Your problem is you're too scared and you want to think about, the mechanics of the question. Forget the mechanics. Let's go back to the principle. The principle is you're here because you want to learn something. And so he reminded me that today. He said the number one rule of success is you got to show up. Just show up. Just keep showing up and keep pushing play. Or if it's something that you're a podcast that you're listening to, or showing up for the group that you're in, I don't know if that serves you, but it served me this morning. And I just when I get something good, I pass it on to somebody else that I have rapport with.
Yes, I am the follow-up. That's exactly, I need to show up, follow up, and that's where I'm at right now. I need somebody to remind me that on a daily basis.
Love that.
We're providing great customer service to our clients, and they'll refer us occasionally, but to hit my long-term goals, I'm gonna have to hustle to get more, and I not just rely on other people to help me grow my business. And I want to build legacies, including my own. So that's where we're at.
So good stuff. So let's suppose there's someone that's listening to the call right now, and maybe it's imposter syndrome, because you touched on that a couple times today, or they're in that W-2 job, like you called it. But they've got the itch. They've got that, like, there's a desire in their heart. They know that they were meant for more. And I loved how you kind of painted this picture of being miserable and knowing that what I'm doing right now, it served me for 8 years, but that's not what the future is going to hold. What is the advice that you would give that person who they know they're kind of on the cusp, they're on the threshold, they know what they're supposed to do, but they're just nervous about stepping away from the security into the world that you and I know as entrepreneurship? What would you say to them? What advice would you give?
Find your faith. I think it's is it How to Grow Rich?
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich. Their chapter on faith, like, really, I was like, okay, and it's been, my trust God over all of this is just to find your faith and focus on that and just plow forward.
I love that.
It's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Such good stuff. So if somebody wants to connect with you, maybe there's somebody that, like, man, I need a good bookkeeper who's down to earth. I saw Sarah on a podcast and I want to connect with her. How is somebody going to connect with you? If they want to learn more about you, what you do, maybe just connect with you, collaborate with you, what's a good way that they can, is it social media? Is it LinkedIn, Facebook? Where can they find you?
I'm Sarah Bratcher on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm fixing to launch a YouTube channel for some. Yeah, I have a lot of brand new investors that don't fully need my services right now, but I go ahead and, I take calls with them and we do an intro thing. So I'm going to start putting some of that on YouTube. Okay. But my website's advisorysolutionswithsarah.com. You can fill out a form there and book a free call with me, or you can email me at sarah@advisorysolutionswithsarah and we can book a call.
Awesome. And that's Sarah with an H.
Yes.
Sarah with an H. All right. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me on the call. And those that are with me today, thank you for, again, viewing the Collaborative Entrepreneur and following TMC Coaching. You can learn more about me and what I do and how I can help businesses, help individuals in the personal and professional spaces of life. You can find me at tmccoaching.org online at our website. If you'd like more information about what I do and how I can serve you, how we can work together, hit me up at Tracy@tmccoaching.org. So until next time, everyone, surround yourself with great people just like Sarah that can elevate your thinking and inspire you to dig deep and do more as you grow in your entrepreneurial journey. Until next time, we'll see you.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Collaborative Entrepreneur Podcast. Be sure to like and follow and turn on notifications for future episodes launching every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're an entrepreneur or want to be on the podcast, you can let us know by emailing us at tracy@tmccoaching.org. Let us know the industry you're in, as well as your biggest wins and learns that you've achieved along the way. If you want to find out how you can work with Tracy in other ways, you can do so on all major social media platforms under 180 Turnarounds. You can also find us on our website at 180turnarounds.com. So until next time, guys, let's win together.